Hi, my name's Sunny, and this week's assembly is all about the Muslim festival of Ramadan. Right, let's start with some tasty foods. I want you to look at these foods and pick which one you would go for. I'll give you a few seconds to decide which one you're going to pick. Okay, I want you to put your hand up if you found that hard to decide. Okay, hands down. Now I want you to imagine that your favorite food was cut up into pieces or slices, and I want you to only put your hand up if you would go for the biggest piece or the biggest slice. Okay, hands down. Who thought about not going for the biggest piece or not being greedy? Who would have gone for the smallest piece? It's not easy, is it? None of us find it easy to say no to the little voice inside us that tells us to get the best thing or get something first. This is selfish, and it's a trait that we all have within us at some level. Right now, a lot of Muslim people are keeping to the rules of a religious festival called Ramadan. Many of the Muslim children in our school wouldn't have even chosen the smallest piece of cake, even if cake was their favorite, because they are fasting. Ramadan is a very important time for Muslims. The month of Ramadan is celebrated all over the world. During Ramadan, Muslims ask God to forgive them for any mistakes they may have made, pray for direction, and try to cleanse themselves through exercising self-control. By not doing everyday things for enjoyment shows that they respect God, and it also shows that they are sorry for the mistakes they have made. Ramadan is a time for Muslims to pray more than they normally would. It is also a time for fasting for Islamic people. Fasting through the month of Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars or duties of Islam. Muslims try to give up any bad habits during Ramadan. During this month, many Muslims all over the world abstain from eating, drinking, and doing other activities such as watching television from sunrise until sunset. Fasting is a very important part of Ramadan. The Prophet Muhammad set the example of fasting. Do you think you could do this? What would be the hardest part for you? You can pause the video here and have a think about how hard you think fasting would be. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims will try to better themselves by praying more often or reading the Quran more frequently. Fasting during Ramadan means no eating or drinking during daylight hours. Fasting begins at sunrise and ends at sunset. How many daylight hours do you think that is? Well, at the moment, sunrise is before 6 a.m. and sunset isn't until after 8 p.m., so that's at least 14 hours of fasting in a day. The morning meal is called a suhoor. During suhoor, high-energy foods such as yogurts, cheese, and honey are often eaten. People then have to slow down as the day goes on to try and save their energy. At the end of the day, after sunset, many Muslim families all eat together and celebrate their day of fasting. This meal is called the iftar. So why do Muslims fast? Well, it's for a number of reasons. To say no to ourselves and to all the cravings of our bodies, to see what it feels like to be weak and to need strength from a different source, to identify with the poor people in the world who might live like this every day, to focus on God and His blessings, and to learn that waiting for things is actually good for us and it builds our self-discipline. At the end of Ramadan, there is a big celebration called the Eid al-Fitr, the festival of the breaking of the fast. Muslims are celebrating the end of fasting and thanking Allah for the strength that He gave them throughout the month of Ramadan. There are special services, processions, and a special celebratory meal eaten during the daytime. Muslims dress in their finest clothes, give gifts to children, and spend time with their friends and family. That brings us to the sign of the week, and this week's sign is celebrate. Celebrate. The personal quality of the week is respect. So I want you to show respect to everybody at home and at school. And finally, although COVID restrictions might be starting to lift, it's still really important to make sure we are keeping 2 meters apart from each other as much as we can. This applies to when we're at school, when we're at home, and when we're out and about. To give you an idea of just how big 2 meters is, the pictures on the left hand side can show you some other things that are 2 meters long. So roughly a bed, roughly a person lying down, or roughly a door lying on the floor. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Take care.